Let's do it, gentlemen.
All right.
30-minute show, right, Ben?
Not with this agenda we got.
Not gonna happen. We got some good stuff to talk
We
about.
just got to keep it under an hour.
Oh, challenge accepted, my friend.
Let's do it.
We are Guys in Shorts, the best darn weekly podcast for sports, entertainment, and pop culture. And I'm pleased to announce this week we check all three of those boxes. We got some good stuff to discuss this week. About time, right, Ben?
Yes, finally.
Before we get into it, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, give it a look-see. It's another fun way to digest the show. And if you have a free minute, we'd love a review on whichever platform you're enjoying the show. This week, we'll discuss MLB's rumored plan for the 2020 season. Could we possibly have baseball back as early as June, gentlemen?
I hope so, man. I hope we have something to watch.
Oh, the NFL draft went down last week. We'll give some takeaways from that. Plus, if you haven't noticed, the world is changing, people. Could movie theaters be the next casualty of COVID? We'll weigh in on the war that AMC is waging against Universal, or it might be the other way around. We'll figure it out. And it's round 2 of the hotly debated Best Bands from SoCal bracket. Vic, should we be excited about this one?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Definitely. Awesome. Can't wait. Let's pod. I'm Jeff Wilson, and that is Victor Costello.
Cheers to Vin Scully and his health.
Yes. Good to have you healthy again, Ben.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And Benjamin Garcia.
You caught me mid-drink. Hoop-de-hoo.
There he is.
I was still toasting, man. Come on.
Yeah. Sorry. Good to see you, gentlemen.
You too, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite seeing you, but you're on my screen.
Ish. I know. Before the show, we were already...
This is bullshit. We need to get back into the same studio.
I know. I feel like a plan is formulating for us to do a safe social distancing pod, but of course, got to run that through the pregnant
Through
wife.
corporate.
Yeah. Yep. She has the final say right now, and as far as our social distancing quarantining goes. Although I did go to a store for the first time in over a month.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
well done, sir.
It was the weirdest thing. I walked in with my mask and I felt like a total idiot, but I'm in Long Beach and it's mandatory. So everyone had masks on. So I felt more at home. But it's funny. I was looking for something and the lady asked, "Do you need some help?" And I had a picture of it on my phone. I said, "Yeah, can you show me this?" And she like takes a step back because obviously I'm coming at her with my phone. It was
That's funny that you had that experience, because when this whole thing started, this was in the beginning of it in March. I was having a real difficult time working because I didn't have a desk set up. I was working in my garage, standing up, and I had my laptop sitting on a 5-gallon bucket. So it was like eye level and a wireless keyboard and mouse. And so after a week of that, I said, it's not going to work. So I go to Office Depot and I'm over there and I'm asking questions about docking stations and chairs and all this. And the guy was one of those like face talkers, like really close face talkers. So I'm not wearing any sort of shielding or whatever. This was before the masks were kind of the thing. And, so I'm standing there and I'm trying to keep my distance, kind of like, side saddling. I'm like just keeping my shoulder between the two of us. And he's literally like standing right there talking to me. And I'm like, all right. And it was under normal circumstances, it would have been fine. It wasn't, I wouldn't even say he was that close. It appeared that close because of what was going on. Like he just had no perception of what was going on. So it's weird how just this pandemic, how you view things. And when I take my 3-mile walk each morning, people literally will cross the street when they see me coming.
Totally. We do the same thing. And I mean at least now it's kind of commonplace. Like everybody seems to get it. I know whenever we cross or the other neighbors cross, you wave and it's like we're all in this thing together. Make the best of it. Yep. So anyway, I broke my streak of not going to a store. So
well, congratulations, man. That's the first step.
Well done, sir.
I was excited, of course, at any opportunity to get out of the house, but there was part of me that was like, I had this great streak going, and
So Jeff, if you were at the store and you realized that like you had to take an emergency shit, would you have driven home so that you didn't have to use those facilities, or would you have just said screw it and use those facilities?
Well, I'm not 3 years old, so I mean, I don't really have to take emergency anymore. But I mean, say like it really came up quick and out of the blue. Yeah. Gosh, what would I do? I mean, it depends on the circumstance. If it was really bad, I'd have gone there and just
just wash your hands. Wash your hands.
My wife, of course, made me take hand sanitizer, so I just hand sanitize my butt and legs and cover everything. I'd hover, do the hover, I'd try my best to hover, not touch anything.
That's good for you. You're a better man than I am.
Would you go home?
No, I would drop trout right there and just wash my hands like normal.
Oh yeah. Take a dump in the sink. Yeah.
Yeah, the upper decker,
right. Sounds on brand for Ben.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's talk some sports. Oh, we got some sports news. Vic, you want to fill us in on MLB's master plan for getting baseball back?
Yeah, there are a few plans out there. The rumored one that came out today was more of a realignment of the league geographically, and the first part of the plan would be to have one central stadium or a few central stadiums where people would start for the first few weeks, and then eventually they would move on to their own home stadiums. In all of those scenarios, there are no fans in the stands. And so, like, we would join a group that would have the Oakland A's, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Angels, the
Come on,
Astros.
how do you not lead with the Astros on that?
I was going to end with the Astros, so that would lead into a conversation.
Yeah.
which, if playing against the Astros all the time would just be amazing. It would brighten my day.
I would actually. So I had the reverse thought, and that is that the Astros right now are a united team because it's the world against them. And so that locker room is going to be cohesive, and most of the team is still together from the 2017 World Series. So I think they're going to go out and they're going to have a hell of a season. That's my personal opinion. So to be in the same division as the Astros, that potentially, depending on how the playoffs look, because now you've got two divisions instead of 6. What does that look like as far as seeding and having to go through the Astros to even make it to the World Series and not being able to play them? So when I saw the lineup, I mean, everything that they're going to do or what they're proposing, it makes sense to me. But I think that the path to a World Series is more difficult now if they do this alignment than if the Dodgers see the Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks like they normally do in division.
That's possible, but at the same time, you got to remember they're going to be playing an Astros team without their coaching staff and without the ability to cheat. So we're really going to see how good this team is without the availability. They're a good team. I don't know if they're a great team. They're not. You could talk to any Major League Baseball player, and the majority of them, not any, sorry. You could talk to most Major League Baseball players, and the ability to know what pitch is coming is huge. And,
no, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and so those numbers are skewed. No matter what anybody says, those numbers are skewed.
It's going to be exciting.
Well, what do you think? So do you think that the Dodgers would still potentially win a World Series this year with that alignment?
Yeah, because they're hungry and they're pissed.
And they're stacked. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and they're stacked. That always helps.
That too. So no American National League this season.
No,
it would be mixed.
Not under that plan. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
I think that it's something that, to be honest with you, it's whatever sport comes back first. I think that universally people are going to follow it, even if you're not a fan of that sport. If soccer was to come out, I'll just use myself as the example. If soccer was to come out and be the first sport that is playing, and it was on ESPN1 instead of the Ocho, I'd watch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at this point, I just want to watch live television, something that isn't rerun, something that's authentic, something that's today. And I think that gets your mind a little bit off of what we're having to go through and this sequestering that we're doing. I like the fact that it's potentially going to be baseball because I think the last I heard from the NBA was at the beginning of April, and they were still toying around with the Las Vegas idea. But since then, I haven't heard anything. So if baseball were to come back and they were to start the season in June, they're going to do a small spring training in May. So we're probably a few weeks away. And if that starts to get televised, and if I'm KTLA, I'm buying the rights for every single game, because there are a lot of people that don't have Spectrum that could then watch it through KTLA, and their ratings can go through the roof. So, if Dodger baseball is back, I will do what I can. I might even subscribe to Spectrum just to get it, because I'm looking forward to having live sports back.
You know what's funny is the NBA actually did release another idea today, or at least a rumored idea, and that's to have the games all played at Walt Disney World, of all places. I didn't read the entire article, but it has to do with the ability to have players at a centralized hotel system and being able to play in one area until at least they're able to open it up, kind of like baseball is. But it was interesting. Why I want to go back and read the actual article about why they chose Walt Disney, but
Probably
it actually just
came
out late today.
Yeah, well, so I read a funny article, and this is what made me think about the NBA again, was Steve Kerr basically said, yeah, we've played our last game. At this point, if the NBA was to come back to end the season, they're pretty much going to either do a few play-in games for the bubble teams, or they're going to just start with whatever the seedings are and start the playoffs. So he says, yeah, my team is 10-52. We ain't playing another game. They're not going to ask us to play against an under 500 Knicks team just for the sake of playing, right?
Yeah,
so he's like, we're building for next season.
Yeah.
And that was what reminded me that the NBA isn't playing anymore. I'd like to see LeBron and Davis and see how they do in a playoff situation against the Clippers, and I'm just hoping at this point that we get to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We can just fast forward right to the good stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, come on, NBA. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the draft? Keep things rolling? Yeah, let's do it. Darren Besa isn't here today, and he would normally weigh in on our Rams. I honestly, did you watch the draft, Ben?
No, I watched highlights of it and read it. Yeah.
It's like 2 months long. You can't watch the whole thing.
I guess because I was home and doing stuff, I just didn't have an interest in it. I figured I'll hear what Darren has to say about it later and then form an opinion. But sorry we have no Rams thoughts on it. We took a running back first in the second round because we didn't have a first round pick. So Todd Gurley's
you won't have a first round pick
hopefully.
until 2025,
yeah,
right?
If that. We'll probably get rid of that one too. But Ben has some thoughts on his Raiders. Why don't you tell us, buddy?
So, okay, this is the first season that the Raiders will be playing in Las Vegas. So this is their quote-unquote first Las Vegas draft. The draft was supposed to be held in Las Vegas. So this is a big deal. The Raiders, when they got John Gruden, the 2 seasons prior, they were, I think, 12-4, and then they went 8-8 the next season. And when the Raiders got Gruden, it was like, okay, this is the step to now, getting to a Super Bowl. Immediately took a couple of large steps backwards, and since then they've been building. And last year I've talked about it a lot, where I felt like the Raiders, they started playing like a team that was coming together, like a bunch of young guys that were effective, along with some cornerstone veterans that you were building the program off of. And so with all of the turmoil that they had at wide receiver with Antonio Brown, with the issues with Vontaze Burfict, there was a few things that they needed to address this draft. And primarily, to me, they were wide receiver and secondary on the defense. So what they did with their number 12 pick in the first round was they went after a wide receiver out of Alabama. And it's funny because all of the draft pundits were saying that this guy wasn't the best receiver in the draft. They ranked him as the 3rd best wide receiver. But what the Raiders liked about him was that he, and this is the Raider way, that he ran a 4.27 in the 40. So he's fast as shit. Now, I don't know if he can catch, but he's fast. If he catches it, he's going to score. So a couple of the things that were mentioned about him was that in 98 collegiate receptions, 24 of those resulted in touchdowns. So again, that goes to show how fast he is. And this is in the SEC, the fastest division in college football. and he had the highest receiving touchdown percentage in the SEC in the last 20 years. At almost 25% of his passes were resulted in touchdowns. So that's going to address hopefully their number one receiver. And then for the second pick, which is also in the first round, they drafted a cornerback. One of the things that the Raiders have had a huge issue with is broken coverage and just not being physical enough with the number one receiver on other teams. And so the guy that they got, this was his quote. He says, "I'd say I'm a physical corner dog. I'm a competitive guy. And above all, I'm tough." Right? So he's that mentality of Raider football. Yeah. And so like in their first two picks, they addressed their needs. And then from there, they went running back, wide receiver, and then a couple of interesting picks was they got two guys out of Clemson. One of them was a hybrid linebacker and safety. So and the other one was an offensive guard. And then the last pick was a small running back. But one of the things that they were trying to address is speed and versatility. One of the things that I feel like the Raiders are trying to do is keep up with the Chiefs in their division. So when you look at the Chiefs, they're fast everywhere on the field, and they've got guys that can play different positions. And so I think Gruden is adapting his offense to do the same thing. And so that's kind of the way they were drafting. And so when you look at some of the picks, they weren't the favorites of the experts, but they were specific in need. They wanted them to be fast, they wanted them to be tough, and they wanted them to play Raider football. And so, again, this is John Gruden building the team in his image. And so at this point, with what I saw from last season and what they did with the draft, I'm looking forward to seeing how this materializes on the field. But this is a Raider team that I think from last season to this season is gonna take another step forward. And we're looking, even with the Chiefs in our division, at a 10-6 record.
Whoa, that is very optimistic for you, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's a good season right there.
It is. It's going to be a hell of a Raider season. It's going to be a much better one than the Rams season.
Yeah, of course it is. Is it going to be as good a season as that wide receiver that the Cowboys took? Is going to have?
Man,
who knows what kind of season he's going to have? But
he's going to have a great season. Maybe not on the field, but
fill us in on this guy, Ben.
So during the draft, this was, again, I don't watch the draft because it takes so long, and you get all the highlights on Twitter.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that popped up was a guy. His name is C.D. Lamb. He was drafted by the Cowboys as their wide receiver. But the funny thing is that while he's being drafted, and again, you don't get this without quarantine, right? Because he's probably going to be in person in Las Vegas, but he's taking the phone call at home, and he's got the phone set up with his entourage and his family, and he's sitting next to his girlfriend on the couch. And so while he's being drafted, the video coverage goes to him, and he's on his cell phone or a cell phone talking to the Cowboys, and then his personal cell phone rings. So his girlfriend sitting next to him reaches over onto his lap, grabs his phone, and was going to answer it. And in a swift move, he reaches over, grabs the phone, and just pulls it away from her, right? And so everyone on Twitter is thinking, well, what's he hiding, right?
Yeah,
so yeah. I would ask you guys, like, what if you're in that position, and you know, Jeff, your wife, Vic, your wife goes to pick up your phone, don't you just automatically allow them to pick up your phone?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you don't, it looks like you're hiding something. In fact, and girls. And
that's why Twitter blew up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that this is specific to girls. So people in general that have been scarred by maybe they've been cheated on, or maybe they've had somebody, they've caught their other person texting or whatever. Yeah. Lori, I guess I shouldn't share too much, but Lori doesn't even like it if my phone is upside down. I said, why do you care if my phone's upside down? It vibrates less if the case is on the whatever. It's like she had a former boyfriend or whatever who, you know, he wanted to hide text, so he'd turn it upside down.
Man, you just turn the banners off. It's real simple.
Yeah. He apparently didn't know that, and now I'm penalized for it.
Jeff, you just gave away too much.
You really did.
I would let her answer it because I've got nothing to hide. People, come on. cheating or whatever might sound great in the moment, but there's nothing better than a full night's sleep with a clean conscience, not worrying about what's somebody's going to see on your phone or in your
she's
bank
not going to Lorena
account
Bob at you
or in your whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I sleep soundly every night not worrying about that stuff.
So the funny thing is that my first inclination was it felt like a kid rushing home on report card day to like hide the report card.
Oh yeah.
Or the other feeling that you get, and I used to do this to people to make them feel real uncomfortable. This was before the cell phone password. Is that you would just pick up their phone and go to their photos and start scrolling, right? you know, like that immediate, like, holy shit, are they going to catch that nude picture I took of myself 2 days ago, like, or whatever? Yeah. So I literally felt when I saw the tweet with this video that's what was happening. But his girlfriend later comes out, and I don't know if it was on Instagram or on Twitter, but I'll read you the quote in the social media post, which says, his agent was, and then in bold, FaceTiming him while he was on the phone with the Cowboys. I was just doing the girlfriend thing, and I was going to answer it for him. So she was the one that apparently let everybody know what was going on. But if that really was the case and that was his agent, his girlfriends met the agent. I don't think that's the problem. So anyway, that's how the story ended. So I truthfully believe that there is an underlying reason why he did that, and that's not the reason.
Yeah.
That's what he told her.
That was reflex right there. Because he probably didn't know it was ringing maybe and didn't know why she was reaching for it. That is,
right.
There's dirt in
his
that
body
phone.
language, when you watch it, his body language, it's not normal body language.
Have you seen the clip, Jeff, at all?
No, I haven't.
You're going to have to check it out. It's pretty funny. I'll send it to you.
I'll do it. Well, you did send it to me. I think or you sent me the article. Yeah.
I sent you the article. It's got the video in it. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Good stuff. All right, let's keep this thing moving. Ben.
Yeah.
It's funny because I looked at my notes and I instantly said Ben, which I don't know why I would have done that because we're going to talk about real quick. Oregon has a plan for coronavirus, and
you want to just leave it at that, and I'll tell you what the plan is.
Yeah, what's the plan, Ben?
All right, so I can't take credit for this story. We have a text thread amongst not only just us, but a couple of our other friends from the other podcast, The King's Realm, and so one of the guys sent this. I think it was Jordan. Yeah. And once I saw the title, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a show topic. The topic.
I should point out, Cliff also sent it to you.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. so we got to give credit to everybody.
Yeah.
They
so
knew who
anyway,
to send this article to.
Yeah, of course. the article subject is Oregon Strip Club creates a drive-through experience during Corona lockdown. And so when you read the article, what it tells you is that the owner didn't have the thought of this, but apparently there's a local event company in the city that approached him about it and was like, hey, listen, why don't we join forces and combine our talents and let's get our guys back to work, or in the strip club's case, gals back to work. Yeah. And so the owner of the strip club initially, he heard the idea and then he thought to himself, I don't want to bring the wrong sort of attention to my establishment. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he wants to be a respectful, immoral establishment, where they respect social distancing protocols and then he was like, well, we're a serious business. I want to be taken seriously, right? So he's one of these kind of people. But after a few days of thought, he's like, listen, I need the money in my pocket. And so they decided, okay, at that point, we're going to do it. How is this going to work? So in order to keep the social distancing aspect between the stripper and the client, what they decided to do was actually close down the building, but use the strip club's parking lot. And so then they had the event coordinator come in and place one of those big event tents into the parking lot. And then from there, they put in fog lights. They put in, the colorful lights. They put in, I got the notes here. Hold on. Disco balls. And of course, most of all, they had the titties up on, like the stages. And so let me read to you the quote on how it works. It says, it basically works like this. Cars pull in and the DJ starts playing a song. Several dancers wearing gloves and face masks perform for the length of the song, and then the customer's food is brought to their car. the club event throws in a free roll of toilet paper for each person that comes in. Which apparently, like it is here, it's difficult to get toilet paper. So you're actually paying not only for food, titties, you're getting a roll of toilet paper at the end of it. So, this is good old American ingenuity.
Yeah.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade out of it. So that at the end of the article, it says that everyone was happy. You got the clientele that's coming in that gets the human experience of seeing titties in person, and the women themselves feel like they're now and considered essential workers.
I love it.
So everybody wins.
That is funny.
That's crazy.
I love how. Sorry, go ahead, Vic.
Well, I was just going to say, that's a great idea. I mean, it's brilliant that they're actually going to, I don't know if they've tried it or they're going to try it. But either way, I do feel like they missed out on a little bit of an opportunity. I feel like a live virtual reality strip club might work also. Like the NBA has 3D for virtual reality cameras that you can watch a game from live as the game is on the floor. You can watch the game, and I just feel like that might work also in a strip club.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't think whatever's going on around the main stage matters. Like if I'm paying to go to a strip club, I don't care if it's if it's in 3D because I'm there live. I'm not really caring about the fog machine and the lights. As long as the girls are cute and, I get a good view of them, that's all that matters. The only thing I'm thinking of is it a typical strip club song where they take a 5-minute song and they cut it down to 55 seconds, and then how does it work when the girl wants to do lap dances and how do they approach you? Like if it takes that element out of it, that's actually better than going to a strip club. So that way you don't have to worry about turning them down and saying, I'm not interested.
That's true. Probably a lot less money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I love how the guy, the owner, said, "Oh, we want to be a respectable business," but then went full on in the other way with the free roll of toilet paper. Like that, like what's more gimmicky than that?
I don't know, man. If they were just trying to get people that were on the fence, like, should I go to a strip club? Well, we can get a free roll of toilet paper. All right.
Oh,
that's how you.
funny.
Honestly, Jeff, that's how you convince your wife when you're running out of toilet paper and you can't find it at Costco. You're like, listen, I know of a place where I can go. It's going to be a little pricey. It'll be $20 a roll, but I can get a roll every time I go and get
a roll, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, you try that and let us know if it works.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I got my Costco rolls finally showed up, so I'm stocked up for a while. But if this thing goes on long enough, who knows? Let's keep it moving, shall we? Oh my gosh, we got a war brewing, gentlemen. It is
what?
It is a war. So earlier today, Vic sends out an article about Universal made the decision to release Trolls World Tour, which is that the second or third Trolls movie?
It's the second.
And
I don't know why I know that.
Oh, because you have two daughters.
I know why I know it.
Two adorable daughters. That's right. So they decide it was supposed to come out in the theaters, but with all the theaters are closed. They make the decision, let's just release it at home, charge $19.99 to rent it, and you can see this first run movie at home rather than going to the movie theater. And they rake in the dough doing it this way. The movie theaters are pissed about this because Universal has done pretty well by releasing it this way. And the movie theaters who, over the last several years have kind of been fighting this growing idea of, video on demand at home growing in popularity.
They're the new Blockbuster Video.
I wouldn't go that
it's
far.
Like when Netflix happened.
So I wouldn't go that far to say that, but I'll tell you what, if they try to wage a war against the studios, I could see it going that way. They should be kissing the studios' asses right now because I think this shows that the studios hold all the chips. I don't think movie theaters are disappearing anytime soon, but if they
I think they are as far as quantity. I would
agree with that.
It's sort of like well, and maybe it's a bad example now because the one skating rink that I used to use got closed. But what I remember in the 80s, like you could go to every city and there was a skate rink. And,
Right.
and then as we aged and we got into our 30s and 40s, like most of them closed and you had a few, and they would do good business because they were the only game in town. But I see that kind of being the way of the movie theater, that instead of having 3 per city, because I know the city that we live in, there's like 3 or 4 of them, it's going to consolidate to maybe 1 for 3 or 4 cities. And it'll do good business, but it isn't going to be the way it was in the good old days.
It all depends, and I agree with you, and I think it could be leaning that way. And if the theaters start waging a war against the studios, the problem is these first run movies, people want to see them, like the Marvel movies. If they come out in the theater, they're going to pay theater prices. They're going to go to the theater. If they come out at home first, they're going to watch it at home, and they're going to pay whatever it is. The James Bond movies, the big, summer popcorn movies, like all those movies that are events, people are going to go, they're going to pay to see those wherever they want to. Now, the studios ideally would like to release them in the theater because you're charging per person. It creates buzz. We're still kind of conditioned to feel that way, like a theater movie is a big event. And let's be honest, the theater going experience is cool. But what they're fighting is that the home viewing experience is catching up. Just like watching sports at home has gotten so much better than it used to be, And
it's
arguably,
better than live.
Watching sports at home, depending on what you're watching, can be better at home.
Absolutely.
If you're Ben, it's always better. And
yes, that's 100% true.
I think the theaters are going to have to either adapt their model or cave in.
That's it.
And so in reading that article you sent, Vic, so the theater studios, the split is around 50-50, more or less, on what they make. And so, like with this Trolls movie, the other Trolls movies made, I think, around 100, or the other Troll movie made around 140 million. And
that's throughout its entire run.
Throughout its entire run. This one, in the limited time that it's been out, has made, I think, like 100 million, it said.
Yeah, just over 100 million, yeah.
But they make 80% versus 50%. So they've made more money off of the Trolls movie being released on video than off of the theatrical run.
Well, it sounds like the players' union of any sports group, they're going to go back to when this whole thing is all said and done, they're going to go back to the theater group and they're going to say, we want a higher percentage.
Well, the argument, though, is what the theaters are saying is you can't compare this because people we're closed. Like the theaters aren't an option. People are stuck at home and they need something like this. Like the Trolls movie is perfect. And let's be honest, a Trolls movie, a family movie, parents are looking for ways to entertain their kids. Like that's the perfect genre of movie to release in this format at this time, right?
Yeah.
It might not necessarily work with other movies, certainly not probably dramas or, movies that don't have a lot of buzz around them or whatever. But, not that those make a ton in theaters anyway. So I could see that happening where this is, well, and that's what Universal said. Universal came out and said, yeah, we did really well with this Trolls movie. I think we're probably going to see more of our movies released this way, not all of them, but, blah, blah, blah. Well, AMC, got up on their high horse and took offense and said, Universal is no longer allowed in our theaters. We're not playing any of their movies anymore because of this. So they're trying to strong arm Universal into walking this back. And Universal's like, look, we have a business to run. We're doing what's best for our people. And
they're just following what Netflix has already started. Because, I mean, when you think about the movie that Pesci, De Niro, and Pacino were on.
Irishman.
What's The Irishman?
Yeah.
It's like that never went to a theater. That was made by Netflix, and it was immediately released on Netflix. And for people to consume it, for free for just the monthly subscription. Yeah. And so Netflix has already done that. In fact, and Jeff, you'll be able to comment on it, but I think that there's been some arguments in like the award shows at the end of the year, like your Golden Globes and your not the Emmys, whatever the big one is,
The Oscars,
the Oscars, is that I've heard that they've tried to keep the Netflix movies from coming in because they're not actually being released in theaters. So to me, Universal is just following in that. And so again, I think this is more like a blockbuster video. It's like, I feel that the cornerstone of the movie theater and how they've made money over the last couple of years has changed. It's already past them. And now I think that it's just going to rapidly decline, and you're going to start to see a lot of them close.
I think you guys are all right. And the thing that I think the theaters are not seeing is when you guys have brought up Netflix and Blockbuster earlier on, right? When Netflix first came out, everybody was saying the same thing, like, "Oh, this is just you can get DVDs in the mail, like it's never going to go anywhere. Blockbuster's fine. People like going to the store and picking out their thing, da 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 da." And then Netflix, switched it up on them and used their technology to get ahead of Blockbuster. And by the time Blockbuster reacted to what happened with Netflix, it was too late. And I think that might happen to some of these chains. And I think Ben is right. I think we're going to see less chains out there because the future is in streaming. It's in staying at home. People have home theater systems that are amazing, right? I mean, these things sound really, really good. And I think Jeff said it also that they're going to have to learn to adapt, and whether it's that they start offering streaming services on their own, they're going to have to learn how to, instead of saying, no, you can't do that, whoever's in charge over there needs to be like, okay, we saw what happened to Blockbuster. We need to start acting now on how to, not end up being like Blockbuster. To
navigate through it. So Jeff, I have a question for you. One of the movies, and I'm not the type of person that, sets dates on my calendar. And now that I've mentioned it, I don't know the date, but I know that it's in mid-June. Top Gun 2 is supposed to come out. And I am like the most excited person to watch this movie because I loved it as a kid. Awesome. And I've seen both the 2.5 minute YouTube video, and then they have a 6-minute one, which I've seen.
It looks great.
It looks fantastic. Yeah. And so the question that I have for you is, let's assume that the date comes by, and let's just call it June 15th, that they've been advertising for over a year now. This is the date that movie is going to come out. Do they have any flexibility in delaying that so that when we, the consumer, get to see it, get to watch it in a movie theater? Or do you think that they're going to possibly do what Trolls did and just say it'll be releasing that day, but stream it?
No, so many movies have been delayed.
Yeah.
Marvel delayed Black Widow.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
They delayed the new James Bond movie till November. I mean, movies that were supposed to be released, have already been delayed. I haven't heard about movies in June if Top Gun has been
I haven't heard anything about that
yet.
one either.
I haven't heard that yet. But no, if this thing keeps going, the big movies like that, those big popcorn movies, the studios still want those in the theater because, let's be honest, you still want the movie to go to the theater, ideally, because you watch it with a bunch of
fans like you too. Though it's like when we watch the Michael Jackson thing, it's that that feeling that you're sharing this with 1,000 other people that think exactly like you.
But here's the thing, and I'm going to pull an Eric Vieira and speak out of both sides of my mouth.
Who?
Studios, yeah, right. Studios want their movies in the theater because then you get the fan when they want to see it first in the theater. Then you get them when they need to rent it or want to buy it on, digital or Blu-ray or whatever they want to buy it on. With this Trolls movie, you could rent it for $19.99, but I think you could buy it for $24.99. Most parents probably spent the extra $5 to buy it.
Absolutely.
So now they didn't have to take their family to the movies, which is at least $50,
$100,
plus the popcorn and whatever. But the studios didn't see it, so they don't get that. Now they're just buying the movie, and now they have it forever, and now they've made their money, and that's it. So studios still want their movies to go through the theater. Now they still hold, I think, the bargaining chips in this thing because they own the product. They can do whatever they want, and now we've learned that they can. Maybe they can't use the theaters, but we still have a great plan B here where we can release them in the video on demand. And now, speaking out of the other side of my mouth, the thing about the theaters is, you think about going to the theater, and it's fun because you go and you know, it's the shared experience of it, right? And going into this big, you know, dark theater or whatever. Well, now we all have, you know, 50, 60, 70 inch, you know, TV LEDs, 4K TVs on our walls at home with surround
Those 4K
sound
TVs
systems.
are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're gorgeous. You know, it's good enough, right? And it's more comfortable in your home, as you've already established, Ben.
Yeah.
And the social.
I was going to say, these are $9.99 for a 6-pack.
There you go. There you go. You can't get popcorn for that cheap. But the shared experience now is social media. Because think about it. If you go to a movie, you tweet about it or you post it on Facebook at the theater, this and that. Because if it didn't happen on social media, it didn't happen. So now you have that from home, watching Top Gun 2 at home, you know, and so you scratch all those itches. And so anyway, all that to say, I think if the theaters decide to strong arm the studios, it's not going to go in their favor.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well done. Well said, sir.
I'm excited to see how it plays out, though.
Honestly, I hope that they go to war because I just love reading about this shit.
Yeah.
Seeing what happens.
Oh, man. Yeah, I could.
Do you think that there comes a time when it's a hybrid where the big blockbusters come into the movie theaters for like 2 weeks and that's it, and after 2 weeks you can now stream it at your house?
Yep, I totally do. I totally do think that, because you think about it, and a movie is at its biggest hype when they put all that money into the advertising for opening weekend, you know, and then it starts to fade, you know, and then, you know, the tradition is that, you know, a few months later, then they kind of advertise that you can rent this movie and whatever.
Right.
But being able to hype that and ride the wave of, you know, the hype while it's popular, you get the people that want to go to the theater, and then you get the people that, I mean, there is something to be said for, if you release it too quickly, people might say, well, I'm not going to go to the theater because I'll just see it in 2 weeks at home. So you want to keep enough space between those where, you know, you're double dipping. You know, you're getting those people that they want to watch it in the theater and then they loved it, and so then they're going to rent it again at home in another couple months.
Well, to me, that's going to hurt the movie theater if they only do it for 2 weeks, because Hollywood comes out with so many movies, right? But most people aren't going to watch. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, I want to go to the movies, and I would just look at a list of movies that were playing, and I would pick the one that I wanted to watch. But as I got older, I only go to movies that I've got, like Top Gun. Like, when I know that comes out, I'm going to go watch it, right?
Yep.
So I go
Straight
once
outta
a year,
Compton.
once every 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Those
that was the
ones.
last movie I went
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
So
I know your taste,
you know,
Ben.
so the problem's going to be is if the good movies are only there for 2 weeks, then that means that the rest of the year it's going to be a bunch of shitty movies that people really don't care about, and the only clientele that you're going to get are the 18-year-old kids that want to just go and make out in a dark room for 2 hours. Which you're always going to have, but you're not going to have mom and pop from Kansas to go and support your institution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out. Oh man, that was
Should
a
be
lot
fun.
of movie talk. I love it.
Jeff loves it.
Oh, I do love movies, if you couldn't tell. Before we move on from how coronavirus is changing the world, it finally happened. We all know, we've seen these newscasters at home broadcasting from their living rooms, and you know that they don't have pants on, but it finally happened, and one got caught. Ben, you want to fill us in on this?
You basically told the story. So there was an article. It literally took me 30 seconds to read the article. The guy's name is Will Reeves, and he was on Good Morning America. And like you said, he's sitting in a chair at his desk with a webcam or whatever it is. And, you know, because he's doing this interview from home and he doesn't have professional lighting and professional cameramen behind him, he sets everything up, sits down in his chair. And then when it cuts to him, he's sitting there and he's wearing a nice blazer with a nice shirt, and he's sitting there in appears to be underwear. Later on, he says he's wearing shorts.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, I was like, we've all talked about it. In fact, about a week ago, I was on an interview panel for my group was interviewing for a position. And so I was asked by my manager, hey, do you mind being part of the interview panel? And so I asked him, I said, does that mean that we need to be on camera because they're going to be on camera? And he says, well, you can do that or not. And so I remember thinking to myself, like, I could just put a shirt on and wear my shorts or underwear and nobody's going to tell. But then I thought, what if I screw up? So I took the extra 15 seconds to put pants on, right? I didn't put shoes or socks because no one will ever see that. But I at least put pants on. And so we've all talked about it. We've all joked about it. Yet this guy does it and then gets caught on the biggest stage on a national television show seen by millions of people. And so what I have to give him credit for is that, of course he gets caught. Somebody on social media then tags him and it goes viral. And he owns it. He's like, yeah, you caught me. Totally embarrassed. He wasn't trying to make any excuses about it. It is what it is. But listen, if you are in a corporate environment or you're having to do something at a professional level, don't fuck around. Yeah. Take the extra 15 seconds. If you're already putting on a dress shirt and blazer, put on the damn pants. Yeah. Don't put on a belt because nobody will notice that, but at least put the pants on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's sound advice.
It is. Yeah. We should put that on a shirt.
Yeah. At least put pants on.
But you knew at some point it was going to happen.
Those are not words I thought Ben would ever be.
That's
I am
true.
I am reasonable and fair and balanced. Well, it all depends on the situation. I said when it's corporate and it's professional, put your pants on.
Put your pants
If it's fun time, hey, baby, you take them off or you're going to watch TV, take them off. I don't know if you guys watch the Goldbergs, but when I used to go to work and come home at the end of the day, I was like Murray Goldberg. I'd come home, and first thing that gets undone are my belt and pants and get dropped to the floor, and I walk around in my underwear.
Is that now that you have daughters?
I would say more like Al Bundy, but
yeah.
Oh, what was that, Jeff?
Now that you have daughters, is that not the situation?
Oh no, I still do it.
Yeah.
Listen, walking around in your underwear is something I'll do when they're teenagers and when they're older. Hey, it's my house. Yeah. I'm not going to walk around naked, but I'm going to be walking around in my underwear.
Yeah. Keep the boys away.
That's right. It's my house.
All right.
Whose house?
My house.
Ben's house. We got to get to our new favorite game, the Best Bands from SoCal brackets. Vic has another round of bands this week. What genre of bands are we covering this week, Vic?
This week it's going to be alt-rock bands.
Alt-rock. So we did
alt-rock.
regular rock last week. I feel like that was
more of like a hard rock, heavy
rock.
Metal type. Yeah. This is more of a mixture of alt-rock type style bands.
I love it. Yeah. How was our Twitter voting? Did that go well? I think you're saving the results,
I did it.
Right?
Yes, I did it on 3 different platforms for last week, and there was one upset that we'll learn about when we revisit the heavy metal. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So we don't find out
upset.
So we don't find out the results of last week until we go to the round of 32. Then
that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Well, I'm hoping they come back and listen.
I mean.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's our main motivation. Sorry.
Good stuff. All right.
Yes,
Should we jump into it?
I'm a little bit afraid because alt rock is definitely not my wheelhouse. If it was gangster rap, I'm in.
Oh yeah, looking forward.
Well, you'll like next week then.
Oh yes, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. All right, we ready?
Let's do it.
All right, and Ben or Jeff, if you don't have like anything to say, just say out a band name. If you don't know who they are, or if you don't want to say anything, we'll be quick about this.
I mean, last week we found out that our vote counts just as much as anybody that votes online. So, I feel like.
But if you have a really favorite band, you might be able to sway somebody. Who knows?
Oh, love it. Good idea. Okay, so let's do it.
Michael Jackson.
All right. So, in the alt-rock category, the number 1 band is The Doors. And they are going up against the number 16 band, Sugar Ray. And if either of you two pick Sugar Ray, we might not be friends anymore.
Well, I like the Doors.
Yeah, that's of course the Doors. And if anybody votes Sugar Ray, how dare you? That's not a challenge to go vote Sugar Ray. In fact,
yes, thank you,
we should
Jeff.
just take Sugar Ray off the list. You know what's funny? Hold on. Gosh dang it. We're on the first one, and I already am slowing down progression here. But I remember back in the 90s, when Sugar Ray came out, and somebody made the comment to me, You seem like a guy that likes Sugar Ray.
That's such an insult.
I was so offended. And this was before they were like really Sugar Ray. I think just their first single had come out. And they're
that's
like,
so funny.
and they're like, you seem like a guy that likes Sugar Ray. I was so offended.
Jeff, if you get a package sent to your house of a Sugar Ray T-shirt, it wasn't me.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly who it was. How dare you? All right, so that's for sure the Doors. By the way, love the Doors. Love the Doors.
Yes.
I feel like they kind of fit in with alt rock, even though they're alt rock. I mean, they fit in with the category.
They're classic rock, but
Classic
we'll
rock.
give them alt for this topic.
Yeah. Classic alt rock. Yeah. Nah. So number 2, Jane's Addiction versus number 15, Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish.
All right,
Yeah, because I don't know anything by Jane's Addiction.
Jane's Addiction is universally more beloved, hence the number 2 ranking versus the number 15. But Real Big Fish is one of my all-time favorite.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Yes, I'm with you, Jeff.
They are everything you want in a band. They're fun. They're loud. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're just a breath of fresh air especially in the alt rock genre that could be a little more, morose and whatever.
Yes.
Real Big Fish in the 90s. You probably remember, Ben. That was one of the CDs that was on constant rotation in JW Pickup.
That and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
I love that
Dad,
little swing renaissance where
for like 2 weeks in 1997.
It was the best. It was the best.
2 weeks.
I was in my element right then.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
I wish that the whole ska thing had kind of carried on a little.
Materialized,
I'd like to see it come back. I feel like it's going to come back.
might.
It's bound to come back eventually.
Yeah. Listen,
For
dude, you'll
another
be
2
60 when
weeks.
it comes back, and you'll feel like you're in your 20s again.
Yeah.
For 2 more weeks.
I'll do it. I love it.
All right, moving on. Number 3, the Go-Go's versus number 14, Hoobastank.
Hoobastank.
Really? I'm going Go-Go's on this one.
All right, Go-Go's.
Yeah. I'm going Go-Go's. That instantly takes you back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
Any
I know one
Go-Go's
song for each of them, and I like the Hoobastank song better.
You're kidding. That song is the most played out song from that generation. Oh.
Hey, listen, I like Belinda Carlisle when she went single before she was or after she was a go-go.
Oh no, that's Go-Go's all the way.
Go-Go's. All right. Moving on. Number 4, Oingo Boingo versus 13, the Wallflowers.
Oh,
Oingo Boingo, what Kiss FM called their
Oingo
No, isn't
Ben, you're losing.
wasn't there like a concert called Oingo Boingo?
Any street cred we had completely went out the window.
Okay, what was the other one? I didn't even hear what you said. Is
The
Oingo Boingo
Wallflowers.
against who?
The Wallflowers.
Oh, Wallflowers. Jacob Dylan, baby.
Are you really going, Jacob? Oingo
I
Boingo.
am because
That's Danny
I couldn't
Elfman.
tell you a song that Oingo Boingo sings. This is not my genre.
Party.
Hey,
I don't know
it's
that
your
song.
vote. That's
wait,
right.
I should be careful when I
Wallflowers,
sing. By the
you
way,
got Wallflowers.
I have some massive corrections for all the facts that I tried to spew off the top of my head last week with Poison. I sang the wrong song, and it's funny because even at the moment I was singing the song, I was like, "This doesn't sound right," but I'm all in at this point. I got to keep going with it. It was "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" that Poison sings, not "Cats in the Cradle." And Ben, you were right. The Guns N' Roses had the Cats in the Cradle version. Anyway, you got to go back to last week to fill in on that one. But no, get out of here with the Wallflowers. That is all Oingo Boingo.
Wallflowers. I'm not changing my opinion.
Well done, Ben. Stick to your guns.
I love little girls. They make me feel so good. Come on, Ben.
Jeff, is that even the correct song?
Yes, that's Oingo Boingo.
Wow.
I don't know that song. I really don't.
You do know that song. Google it. Yahoo it.
Google it.
All right.
All right.
Oh, yeah, Yahoo
Who's
it.
next?
There you go. Number 5, Social Distortion versus number 12, Pennywise.
All the way Social Distortion.
couldn't tell you what song either of those two bands sing. So
Really?
I'll go
Which name do you like better?
Pennywise.
Oh,
All right.
man, you just went with that.
No, I
because you
swear,
know it's against
this
what
is
I
not
say.
my genre. I listen at this point. I could listen to like country music and be able to give you a better opinion than on alt rock.
Is there
This is not something I listen to.
Is there a country category, Vic?
There is not, but there is a miscellaneous.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Shania
that
Twain.
is Social's Distortion, and they should win by a landslide over Pennywise.
We'll see. All right, moving on. Number 6, No Doubt versus number 11, Fishbone.
No doubt.
Of course, no,
No
doubt.
doubt.
Wow.
All right.
Fishbone, is that high on the list? I mean,
Apparently.
Don't
Number
know
11.
anything they sing. Go
Fishbone
ahead.
is number
I
11
can
on
only
the
think of
list.
a couple songs they sing, but yeah, that's No Doubt for sure.
Yeah. All right. Number 7, Bad Religion versus number 10, Black Flag.
Never heard of either of those bands.
Never heard of Black Flag, so we'll go Bad Religion.
Bad
No,
Religion.
all right. Bad Religion. Number 8, Minutemen versus 9, Queens of the Stone Age.
Wow. Never heard of both of them.
Well,
Queens of the Stone Age.
I was going to say, you got to go for the Queen.
Queens of the Stone Age. There would be my choice. You would know more Queens
Okay.
of the Stone Age songs, Ben, but Minutemen, they did the theme to
Paul Revere.
Jackass. You know
Oh,
the
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
They're
yes.
a punk band.
Okay.
They got some good stuff, but yeah, Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of the Stone Age. And that's it. That ends the alt rock category
Wow.
and the best of LA
Oh,
bands.
That was rough.
Yes, man.
You know what it makes me realize is that I like what I like and I don't branch out.
Yeah,
you can
no,
say
that is you for sure. Absolutely.
It's like, why waste
to-
my time to listen to something that I don't
Yeah.
know?
You might mistakenly find something life changing that could,
Yeah.
rock your world.
Who wants that?
If it wasn't on
Yeah.
K Day 92.3 the B.
KDAY.
Yeah, Power 106. Yeah, I didn't listen
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No,
that's very oatmeal,
yeah.
no sugar of you, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these bands I don't know either. I'm gonna really know the when we get to the hip hop rap bands. I'll know those ones too.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff, guys. Anything else we need to cover before we get out of here?
No, we got 2 minutes before we hit the hour.
Oh, then let's do it by all means. If you enjoyed this show, or if you didn't and you like movies, if you liked talking about movies, you should check out the Definitive 5. That's another show in the family of podcasts. We talk about the top 5 movies of a specific genre every week. This week, actually, we haven't recorded it yet, but we're doing top 5 movie trilogies of all time.
Oh, nice.
You guys have any votes you wanna plug in there?
It has
You
to
have a
be
favorite
well,
trilogy?
I Back to the Future is
Yeah,
up there.
that has to be in there
So
for sure.
good. So
and
good.
Yeah.
when Sicario comes out with a third one, that one will be on there too.
Is that good?
It's
I
fantastic.
wanted
The first
to watch
two
that
are
the
awesome.
other night, but I couldn't find, or I didn't want to pay $3 to rent it. I was like, it's got to be on one of these video on demand
Yeah,
things for free.
you spent $25 to watch Trolls, right?
But I own it
By
I own it
himself.
for $25. So I got to watch Sicario. I hear that's really good though. Anyway, yeah, we're doing trilogies. That'll come out next.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so check out the Definitive 5. Check us out online on Twitter, Instagram, at Guys in Shorts Pod. You can also leave a voicemail for us, 562-450-3356. And again, if you'd like to see our smiling faces, check us out on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, and we're putting the weekly recordings of our webcams on there, and it's fun. You can see Vic's awesome Millennium Falcon.
My ode to May the 4th. It's coming up.
Oh, that's right. Love that. That's a good one. And Ben at Dodger Stadium, very
It's
appropriate.
beautiful, Ben.
You both look great. I haven't figured out how to do it, so I still just have the back of my garage in there with our high-tech sound dampening furniture blankets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Our acoustic furniture blankets. Ah,
I see a wheel well and a tire.
That's the boat. You know that. You know that real well and tire very well.
I do.
Stories for another day. Review us wherever you're listening, please. We do appreciate it. 5 stars, of course. Certainly would appreciate that. And subscribe and share the show with all your friends. We made it. It's under an hour. We did it.
No, it's not. No, we missed it.
But we do
It happened
minute
just
or
now.
two before. When?
Yeah. Do it now. Hurry.
For Victor Costello and Ben Garcia, I'm Jeff Wilson. Stay safe, people.